Well, hello there, everybody. I'm Photo Dave, and this is Toypixx. If this is your first time on the channel, the idea behind Toypixx is to help people get better at their action figure photography, including yours truly. And everything that entails include things like photo equipment, it includes tips and tutorials, it of course includes action figures. And so for today's video, I'm going to be talking about a pair of lights that I use for almost every shot. And I shoot daily, so I use these lights quite a bit. Yeah, clearly I've gotten my money's worth. Anywho, let's roll that beautiful intro. Before we get started, I wanted to let you know we'll be using snake eyes and timber to kind of show this off so you can see a bunch of brightness and color settings and all of that when it comes to these lights. So yeah, these guys are really cool. Plus, I like demonstrating light on figures that are mostly black, and snake eyes definitely covers that. One thing I'm also using, just so he doesn't fall over, is a little bit of putty right there under his foot. Okay. Now let's get started. Now, in this lighting set, you get two of everything. You get two of those LED boxes. That's obviously your main light. You get two diffusers. One thing to keep in mind, and I don't think this is a design flaw, I think this is more of a me flaw, is these lights are so light that as you're carrying them around, they might actually end up upside down and the diffuser will end up falling out of the top of it. Again, I don't know that that's a design flaw, but it's definitely something that you might want to pay attention to. You get two red gels, you get two yellow gels, and two blue gels, all to go inside there when you need those color lights. You also get an extender that extends pretty high. I'll demonstrate that here in a little bit. And you get a little tiny tripod so that the lights can stay good and low for your figures. Now here's one of the telescoping posts that this light set comes with. It telescopes to about 37 inches, and even better than that, if somebody in the house starts getting mouthy or irritating because you're taking photos, all you have to do is wave this at them and just be like, no. No. Don't hit people with posts, kids. These lights use USB connectors, and what I've just been using are my connections for my iPhone and iPad, though I should probably get a USB box at some point. This is your very simple power and brightness switch that's connected to the light. The middle button's power, the top button is turn the brightness up, the bottom button is turn the brightness down. It's not too complicated, this system. Kind of a fan. There's also this here. It's on a bit of a ball so that you just untwist that. You can angle it all over the place. There's a little notch over here so you can angle it super low and make the thing vertical if you need to. Pretty cool stuff. I'm actually a fan, which makes sense since I use it pretty much all the time. And now it's time for the fun part. So here's the real simple setup. I have one light to the left and I have one light to the right. And I'm just going to show you a little bit of brightness on this first one. And then for the next demonstrations, when it comes to the color and the gels and everything, I'm just going to show you how the color looks on the figure so you'll get an idea of whether or not this is something you'd even want in your lighting collection. Let's do it. And there you go. Those are both lights set as bright as they can go. Now I'll sit here and play with the brightness so you can see what happens as it goes lower. Boom. Ooh, I'm timing it kind of well. Ooh, oh, that time I didn't time it as well. I was getting them pretty close to. So yeah, it doesn't need to be a super blown out picture for this to still work. You're okay with this kind of setup. Now that's about as kind of least bright that they go. I won't say dark because obviously that's not really dark, but that's just what the white light would do. Now we're going to start inserting some gels so you can see what we get that way. Quick note before I start adding the gels. When it comes to the diffusers here, I pull the diffusers out of the light, and the reason is they're a little tight to fit the gels in with them, even though they're also loose enough where when I'm carrying them around, they can fall out. So yeah, that was a quick note about what I do here. I pull the diffuser and I put the gels in without it. Okay, let's start with red. And here's red at its brightest, and I can assure you that as I'm looking at this phone, I can see that there's a whole lot of yellow jumping on the screen. Everything you see that looks yellow to you is going to look a lot more pink in real life. Very strange. I hate it when the phone doesn't color match. Okay, that's as bright as it gets. Let's go low. I was kind of hoping it'd get more pink. Yeah, maybe it's getting a little more pink. And there you go. That's as low as the red gets. And here we are with yellow at its brightest spot. Whew! Okay, let's go low. I think what I'm digging about these things as I'm doing this test is you can definitely see that the light's there, but it's so nice to see that as it goes a little lighter, the picture, or a little darker, I mean, the picture itself, kind of, it just takes on hints of these colors instead of being just totally overblown with them. I like that. Makes me happy. All right. That was yellow. Let's head to blue, or cyan, whichever color you prefer calling this. I think it's closer to cyan, but I digress. Okay, I'm definitely calling this cyan because it seems to give off way more of a cyan light than a true blue light. Yeah, okay, here we go on the brightness, as bright as it can get, and let's go low again. And that's it for that. And now I'm going to put one more demonstration together just to show you that you don't have to just keep it red, yellow, and cyan. You can also mix and match some of those filter colors and just see what you can come up with. It's kind of fun. So let's do that part. And there it is. As a quick demonstration, I dropped 2 yellow gels in with the cyan gel on the light on the right, and I left 1 cyan gel in the light on the left. So you can see there is a pretty significant color change there. Basically, what I'm showing is you can get a green light out of this stuff, which I find exceedingly cool. Because when I first got it, I'm like, wait, red, yellow, cyan, I guess I'll test them and see what happens. But then I got started noticing that I could mix and match. I was pretty excited about that. One thing that's kind of tricky to do with these lights is to take a shot indoors where you're trying to simulate outdoor light. And the reason is because they're just small, so they cast really harsh shadow, so it looks more like a nighttime light. One thing you'd probably want to do if you were trying to get a lot more daylight shots, and it's something I'll end up doing eventually, is get a much larger light that can just hit everything in the picture. That way the shadows are less harsh, everything is diffused a little more evenly and looks a little, I guess, nicer for a daylight type shot. Now, if there's one thing I would change about this lighting setup, oh yes, I might change something. It is that I wish there were a setting between the low tripod setting and the one where the extender is at its lowest point. It feels like for at least the figures that I'm shooting, if I could find a nice middle ground there, I'd be a little happier. But overall, clearly, when you use the lights pretty much every day, you're kind of a fan. Yeah. So that's my review for this particular Neewer lighting set. If you're in the market for that, a snake eyes and timber, or even some putty, you'll find links for all of those things in the description below. So now I leave it to all you folks out there on the worldwide internet. Comment below. Let me know what kind of lighting setup you use because, hey, I'm trying to learn too. And that's pretty much it. You know the drill. Like, comment, which I just told you to do because redundancy. Yeah. And subscribe if you're really digging the content. And until next time, folks, you know how this goes too. Have fun and happy snapping. See ya.